What's up guys, Bloodshed here, bringing you the Demon Hunter Shadow Set Speed / GR20 build for Season 9 2.4.3 Diablo, of course. Now this video is going to be in two parts. We're going to first showcase the GR20 setup that we came up with, and then the second part is going to be the speed variation. First things first, you're going to want to just check out the Diablo fans links down below in the description. There's going to be links to both builds. You want to just copy and paste this build. The GR20 build is incredibly strong and super face roll. Maybe one of the easiest builds out there, because with the two-piece shadow set, your damage is increased by 1200% while you're using a melee weapon. So what we're going to do is we're going to craft a one-handed mace, since maces have the highest damage range out of all the weapons. You're going to go ahead and throw a green gem in the socket. We want our crits to be strong and powerful. Of course, if you're wondering, the 4-piece set gives Shadow Power the effect of every rune and lasts forever. We're going to stack the same type of things we always stack in these starter builds for the most part, like crit damage, lightning damage to pair with our abilities, and then, movement speed, main stat. If you can get Fan of Knives damage on your chest piece or shoulder, that's great, but not necessary. Same thing with your helmet and your boots. If you can get the impale damage, that's great, but not necessary. If you're new to my starter builds, as far as the testing goes, like I don't use any Paragon. I use all yellow crafted gear plus the 4-piece shadow set, and nothing beneficial in the cube. Again, this build is super duper face roll. Feel free to mix and match, change whatever you like. As long as you're using a melee weapon, you're going to be doing obscene amounts of damage. You can probably even equip like a two-handed sword if you find one, right? You're going to be doing stupid amounts of damage. Impale, Ricochet, again, it's a great ability. It has a little bit of AoE spread on it, and we're synergizing them both with the lightning rune. Companion, we're going to use the Bat Companion because it's a little battery for hatred. We're going to gain 50 hatred. Again, that's like the only drawback. We don't have perma vengeance without the Dawn in the cube, so we're going to need extra hatred generating. We also gain 1 per second. And you want to set your Templar to gain 1 per second, although a little bit does add up and help. Shadow Power doesn't matter, it's all aesthetics. You can use any one you want. We do get the effect of every single rune, including Nightbane. Nightbane, we're slowing the movement speed of enemies within 30 yards by 80%, which is great. Increased damage against slowed or chilled enemies by 20% with Cold a Weak. Tactical Advantage, Blood Vengeance for resource, Ambush for that initial pop on the enemies. Fan of Knives, pinpoint accuracy. So yeah, I mean, this build is pretty good overall. And when we get the 6-piece, we get even a better bonus on top of that. You can see the gear I have here. Again, like I was saying, you can use any melee weapon you want that a Demon Hunter can equip. Don't even worry about it. This is just a temporary build until we get our GR20 set completed. Lightning damage on your bracers, and if you can get it anywhere else, even better. I like all dexterity gems in my gear, my weapon, white gem in the helmet, just for CDR purposes. Anyways, you guys, good luck on your GR20 clear. I'm gonna go ahead and get to the next portion of the video. Alright guys, let's move on to the speed portion of the video. This is with obviously the 6-piece shadow set. And once you get that 6-piece rolling in, you're going to notice your damage go up considerably. What the 6-piece bonus does is it makes Impale do 40,000% weapon damage to the first enemy hit. So as you're running through the rift, obviously you're going to be using Fan of Knives and you're going to be spamming Impales everywhere. You're just going to passively see your damage spike up, and you're going to be on a crit, you're going to be 1-shotting elites, 2-shotting elites. I mean, this set in general is super underrated, and it's very good until you get your Unhallowed Essence gear. Once you get your Unhallowed Essence gear, it'll probably replace it. You'll probably be running grenades or multi-shot, and we have videos on the channel for those as well. But this is a really good alternative. We are using Focus and Restraint, and we're using bolas to proc that, and then Impale's going to get, it's going to cover the other part of the Focus and Restraint. We are going to run with the Hellfire Amulet, Nemesis Bracers, just your classic speed gear I find to be the best in this build. The Boon of the Hoarder Gold Wrap combo as well. The gold drop gives us armor equal to the amount of gold we pick up for 5 seconds, so we're just constantly getting gold. And I like to use the Avarice Band in the cube. Okay, if you want to run low level GRs or whatever, you can swap out the gold wrap for the Visage of Goons, and you can swap out Avarice Band for the Elusive Ring, and it's going to give you a lot of damage reduction. I just find that we're going to need a little bit more gold next season. Season 8, gold is kind of a joke, but I noticed in Season 9 the Empower costs are a little bit more expensive than Season 8. So I definitely would rock the Boon of the Hoarder Gold Wrap combo. For legendary gems, I went with Bane of the Trapped, Esoteric, Alteration, and then yeah, Boon of the Hoarder. We're using the Chain of Shadows. After using Impale, Vault costs no resource for 2 seconds. So you'll notice like in the gameplay, like I'm throwing an Impale and then I'm vaulting after that, and that's gonna give me free vaults basically. It costs no resource for 2 seconds. So you can Impale, run, and then vault, and it's free, right? I mean, obviously you're using Hatred, so you're using some kind of resource, but that's generally the motion you want to use. We are using the Lord Greenstone's fan. Every second you gain 200% increased damage for your next fan of knives, stacks up to 30 times. So this is another reason why we're one-shotting elites even without, you know, the crazy 6-piece impale bonus. It synergizes perfectly with fan of knives pinpoint accuracy. It gives us 1600% weapon damage as lightning within 20 yards, a massive 20-yard AoE. We're using Vengeance in the build, and that's going to give us hatred and damage and all that stuff. To get perma uptime on Vengeance, you've probably seen this combo before. We're using the Dawn in the cube. It reduces the cooldown by 65%. So we need 37% cooldown reduction to make all this work and to run with perma Vengeance, okay? 37% cooldown is what we want to shoot for on our gear. Here's the build right here. I'm using Awareness in my Hellfire Amulet, Ambush, Blood Vengeance, Cold a Week, and Tactical Advantage. Oh, another thing about the gear, you want to try to get fan of knives damage like on your chest piece, on your shoulders, on your helmet, and your boots. You can get impale damage. For the Holy Point shot, I like the Holy Point shot for Demon Hunters because you get the elemental damage. We're getting 20% lightning damage, and you can get some really good stats on quivers. It doesn't matter what shadow power rune you use, but whatever one you decide, you get the wings, right? So like if you're using shadow power, you get the green wings with gloom, so I prefer that. But it doesn't matter. The no rune, I think you get red wings with it. So it's more cosmetic. At least you have an option here, right? So this is the build. It's similar to our starter build in a way because there's not that many abilities you can use a one-handed weapon with. It's pretty much like Chakram and Pale and Bolas and just very few limited amount of things. So we don't have much options here, but what we do have is pretty strong overall. This build is pretty easy to gear for the speed version. All you really need is the 6-piece shadow set and a greenstone fan, or you can even use a Carly's point. Okay, so you're like, Blood, how do I get these items? Well, the good thing is Demon Hunters only have 2 daggers in the move pool, so your chances of getting a greenstone fan is pretty much 50-50. And you can use one or the other in the meantime. So if I was a Demon Hunter next season, I definitely would roll Hope of Cain recipe in Kanai's cube, right? That's going to give us 1 guaranteed legendary of the same type. Hope of Cain, upgrade rare item. So we put a dagger in the cube, and then we put in all of the ingredients, which is Death's Breath, reusable parts, arcane dust, and veiled crystals. We transmute, and boom, we get a greenstone fan just like that, and your damage skyrockets. Okay, this is gonna you're gonna be able to face roll the GR20 build if you hadn't done so already. You're going to be jumping into T7, T8 right away. I promise you, like, it's just a good value for your crafting materials because there's only so many options. We got another greenstone fan. 2 already. I mean, a lot of it is RNG. We got another greenstone fan. So you can see how easy it is to do. And it only costs 25 per to get a free weapon. And then the other one you can get is a Carly's point. And Impale returns Hatred. So it's really good for spamming running through the Rift, even if you get this one instead. For stats, I like to stack cooldown, like I said, up to 37%. A lot of crit damage. You just want to hit hard and fast. Your job is to burst elites, as often and as soon as possible. Demon Hunter is like one of the unofficial kings of the seasonal journey. Every season, you have no problem getting the Curses Conquest done, no problem getting, the Belial kill, and just like really hard things like that. The Thrill Conquest is easy. If you're doing the Thrill Conquest, you probably can just use the Greenstone fan with the same build that I put here, and you can probably clear it, right? Anyways, guys, that's going to be all for me today. The next video we have lined up is the starter GR20 speed build for Monk, so you'll see that probably on Saturday or so. Big shout out to all my patrons out there helping support the channel. I appreciate you, bros. We have an exclusive podcast coming for patrons at the end of the month. It'll post on the 1st, actually. I'm going to film it on the 31st, and it'll post actually on the 1st. So look forward to that. I'm excited to do my first longer form content. Catch me at twitch.tv/bloodshed. I'm streaming there 6 days a week, especially when the season starts. We're going to have an amazing launch event for season 9, and I'm going to be just, streaming like crazy. I'm always hyped every start of the season. Any more questions, leave them down in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. This is the Bloodshed, and I'm out of here. Peace.